Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Party Wipe, episode 39. We make a roguelike deck builder in Godot. Godot or Godot. There is no try. You can't combine the word Godot and try. I just tried. How's it going? Oh, the green screen. Can't afford any of the atmosphere to leak out here through the green screen. Hey, Rhiannon. It's not my best intro. I'm still tired, but I think I'm doing better today than yesterday. I just got back from a little brunch. Drank a lot of coffee. Oh, look at this. What is this? What is this registry screen we're all of a sudden on? You're more tired today than you were yesterday? Ah, that's what it is then. That's what it is. I've taken the energy. You can have it back tomorrow. But yeah, check this out. What is this crazy thing? How cool is this? This is our card registry. Our in-editor card registry. Is that the plugin? Yeah, it's called Yard. Yet another resource database. It's pretty slick. Yeah, we're using Yard. It's pretty good. It's available here at Yard-Godot. It's in the asset library. I'm sure it's also in the store. It's good for version 4.5 and plus. It's pretty recent. It's pretty slick. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's got these registries that you can query. And you can also control the loading of the resources, so you can query the resource tables without loading the resources, which is neat. You just have to index certain properties that you want to query for, which is great, because that's exactly the kind of annoying thing that I was like, this is not easy to do, which is like, give me a card that's the Bard card, but it's also the level 3 card. Like, give me the level 3 Bard card, and that's like two different things, and it's this and query. And look at this. This just has an and query. So I could just be like, heroes, where, you know, card name is Bard and level and card level is 3, you know. Pretty nice. And all of the indexes, the index properties that you store just get stored with the registry. So it's just this very simple lookup. You don't even have to load the resources to necessarily answer your question. Kind of neat. Probably need to do some kind of thing of like being able to check if I need to load the thing or not. I guess if I'm going to use it, I need to load it, so that's fine. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I set it up last night. Pretty happy with it so far. Haven't really messed around with it too much, but it's pretty slick. Pretty slick so far. It seems good. How's it going, Nanigans? It seems good for, at least for cards. It helps me. So I made some different registries. I could probably just open recent, huh? Open recent. Well, what happened to my other registries? They're here, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay. So here's like my hero registry, and like that really annoying like array of UIDs. Now it's just a nice table of icons. Look at that. For all of our equipment slot icons. Like, this is way friendly. It probably doesn't, it's probably hard to see on the stream, but this is like way easier to work with. You can still, I can still get my tables of stats too, you know. Pretty slick. And then if you have things like enum values or whatever, it like color codes the values. It's not great for like arrays and dictionaries because I can't really see the whole thing. But if you just click on a row, it just brings up that thing in the inspector anyway. So if I need to modify an array, I can do it easily enough. I actually swapped all these icons from a dictionary to just straight icon usage here, which I probably need to fix in code still. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So like if I open up, I don't know, weapons, weapon registry or the armor registry, kind of cool. So it's like boots, chest, gloves. Really easy to spot a mismatch. I don't totally think the armor is right, but... pretty slick. I don't think it's going to be good for our maps, per se. I'm still not sure about the map design part. But we kind of knew that would be the case because maps are weird. If we stored the maps as scenes, I think we could actually get them into this registry because this registry can manage resources and T-res, res and T-res. So we could probably put them in here, but it probably wouldn't be very useful. How's the water shader going? You got it down from 1,500 lines of code down to about 2/3 of that. Nice. Drop the uniform count by about 1/3. Yeah, that is an involved shader, but it looks very good. That water shader. We'll show it again. This is pretty slick. It's subtle, but it's so slick. Very well done. Can't wait to see more of that come together. I'd say you're not allowed to make your game look better than mine, but I feel like you've already done it. Hey, Sapphire. How's it going? But yeah, this is pretty slick. I think I'll be able to make more cards now pretty easily, and I won't be that annoyed about it. So I look forward to that. I actually need to double check to make sure that this code is written correctly now. There's a bunch of stuff I gotta remove that we don't use anymore. Like the whole card loading system I have doesn't make sense anymore, and I kind of just need to strip it out. Let me make sure where's our update display function? Oh, did we do this in like a for loop or something? That's probably not going to work anymore. How do we do this? Is it a deserialized thing? Or is it like a load from card or something? No? I'm actually not sure how we're setting card icons and stuff. So let's just see. I'm actually a little confused. Probably going to notice a bunch of different bugs from this new card resource. Yeah, like that. Slot icon.texture, character resource.equip icons slot. Yeah. That's not gonna quite work, is it? What do I want to do with this? So this is a dictionary that we use. Can I say something like characterres.get and then throw in a property string name? I might do that. So what we'll probably do is we'll say like characterres.get, and we can say like equip cardres dot equip slots, and make this like just a, well, it probably should be, is there a way to get, no, that wouldn't work, would it? I guess I'm just gonna have a dictionary that maps enum values to property names. That's probably what I'll do. So we say equip card res. Actually, we can just say equip res dot equip slots. And then we'll plug in the slot. That should be fine. Equip res is not, oh, it's not. That's fine. So what we need is we need a static dictionary, which I guess could be constant. Instead, here, let's do, sucks. A constant in GDScript is like necessarily statically available, right? Am I crazy? Anigans, you're more than happy to share stuff you've learned with blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the classic meeting that you don't know whether it's going to happen or not. Identify or null? Not. Do I need to say slot.null? That's silly if so, but I guess it is. I want this to be a dictionary of a slot and string name. This is kind of rough, but probably fine. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Sapphire. I always thought 3D printing would be interesting, but this isn't really great. Slot icon name maybe is what I call this. This is kind of stupid, but it will work. Actually, in GDScript, you can make the value of a... Well, that wouldn't help, actually, would it? That wouldn't help. I was like, well, you can make the value of an enum a string or whatever, right? And that wouldn't actually help, because that would be weird. So what I'm actually doing is mapping the slot to an icon, and that is slightly different. Oh, I already did back. Head, back, neck. But yeah, I'm hoping, I think this yard plugin will help me make cards more quickly. I think the spreadsheet was a good idea, but it's just a lot. I think I would have needed to do much. I think I would have needed to do a bunch of other stuff to make it to have made it useful. This is all right. Hopefully, I'm getting these right. I guess it'll tell me. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Just copy these ones. Should be able to. What's the problem here? Oh, food icon. What am I? I'm dumb. Food. All right, that should work for that purpose. I don't need to say something insane like static const, right? That's like, yeah. A const should be statically available, I would expect. So this would be slot icon name. Yeah, it is. Very good. Oh, I did all of that while the project is running. That is so easy to do in Godot. All right, so now we can just get the correct icon property name. Character res. That's not the right res though, is it? I want to get for slot equipment card res, slot in equipment card res, slot dot value. No, that is correct. It's a little weird that that's how I did that, but that's fine. That actually shouldn't be on that. But whatever. It's fine. I think I put that in the wrong place, but doesn't matter. Man, we really need to implement this mulligan, this card mulligan system, because the number of times I've just gotten totally unplayable starting hands. Oh, and look at this hand. It's only character cards. Oh, man. Cards. Card games and cards. Gang's all here. So yeah, I think what we've decided for the deployment phase, especially on the initial turn, is that the characters are going to be all randomly placed, and then you will be free to move them around. Within the deployment zone. You could also just cheat the randomness and ensure the RNG includes at least one character. I could, but then I'd have to intervene at like the card plugin level, and I do not want to do that. It's not actually a problem, because like I said, the first encounter, or the first during the deployment phase of an encounter, the very first encounter, you have all your characters because you just left the tavern, you just started off on your adventure. Your whole party is here, right? The gang's all here. And then, maybe some of them die, and you don't replace them or whatever. And then it's like, so you could start an encounter with just like a bloodied knight and nobody else. Everyone else died or whatever. And I'm okay with that. Which is why we would include the mulligan. So that if you drew your initial hand and you were like, we really need another hero to supplement this bloodied knight, and you didn't draw it, you could mulligan. Some number of times. Maybe it's like down to 3 and then it's just 3. I don't know. Or maybe I only let you mulligan 3 times, down to 3. All right, shenanigans. But yeah, what we're trying to work on now, then, is a way to distinguish this deployment phase from the regular turns so that we can freely move characters around. Invalid. Type of object, party tab, .unit res, .card name. Character sheet by name, party tab, .unit res. Oh, unit res is not what it's called anymore, is it? So many times I wish so much for GDScript to have better refactoring tools. Because most of the time when I do a refactor, I'm just like gonna wait until we get some crashes. Because I try to access a property that doesn't exist anymore. That seems fine now. Okay, so now we don't automatically go into movement mode, which is good. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the mechanism is that, like, carries the roster over. Well, the roster can just get carried over as we switch to a new encounter. That's fine. What we need to do is we need a mechanism to populate the roster the first time. But that's temporary. Because eventually the players are going to choose their characters and draw their cards and stuff. But it's still something we have to figure out, because that's, for example, if your characters are already in place, those cards need to be there too. So we need to pull those cards out of the deck. And I'm not sure if we can search the deck for a particular card. Let me see if we can do that. That would be neat if we could do that. That would unlock some cool tricks. That would be nice to take advantage of. But I genuinely am not sure if that's something that's available to us. Can you do this? Doesn't seem like it. Maybe a card container can do it. Let's see. Either a card pile, or a card container. Hey, Arneo. Hey, LSG. Yeah, the Control-Shift-F stuff is nuts. Right, you get really spoiled in, like, Writer when you can be like, I'm going to change this property. I want to change the property everywhere it shows up. Yeah, I don't notice when LSG shows up either, because LSG and Rhiannon have the exact same username color. And your usernames are almost exactly the same length. Which is why I mix you two up sometimes. When, like, you're both talking, I'll be like, I don't know who's saying what. Oh, there's a peak top. That's neat. And there's peak some amount. Can you look at a particular card? Starting from index. Okay. So we could iterate and, like, look and find a card, which is good enough, maybe. I think it... I think it should be sufficient to just pop the top 4 cards off the deck and create those characters. Because that's how it's going to work, is like you're going to pick 4 characters, and those 4 character cards are the first 4 cards in your deck. And then you draft more cards. I actually don't know how many cards you're going to draft. I don't know what the right size is for a starting hand. I was thinking of something like 8 cards, maybe 8 equipment cards per character, about, which would be like 32. Maybe 1 ability card for each of them, about. So maybe 40 cards. Maybe your starting deck would be 40 cards. Drafting 40 cards takes a while. But that is just drafting, isn't it? That's like the regular... That's like the regular size of like a draft deck, right? It's like 40 cards. Am I crazy? Yeah, it's usually 40. Oh, but you usually add lands to reach that total. So people don't actually draft that many. They usually draft a couple of dozen cards, I think. I haven't drafted in a while, but that's what I remember doing. So you draft your deck, then you fill with the number of land cards you want. So yeah, asking someone to draft 40 cards might actually be a lot. Maybe the starting deck should be smaller, and I just ask them to draft like 24 cards or something. 20 cards, 24 cards, 26 cards, something like that. Yeah, 40's regular for the final deck, but yeah. Yeah, there's no concept of energy here, which makes it a little different. We gate the resource the player spends as their character actions, not like their cards. So maybe like 24 rounds of drafting. Or you could just hit a random button and it will just like randomly pick you a bunch of cards, maybe. I don't know, that could suck too. I'll have to think about that. I want players to draft, because I think it would be good for characters to see cards and see what they do and like think about it. But at the same time, it's kind of a buzzkill. It's kind of a rough start. Maybe the first time you play, maybe you just get assigned to default a starting deck. And then after the first playthrough, you unlock the ability to like choose your starting cards or something, or draft them. I want to do draft. I don't really want you to be able to just choose your starting cards. I think I would eventually make that an option, but like have that be like the equivalent of like unranked play or whatever. Because I could see people wanting to have like starting decks of like, oh, this is my deck. I pick these 4 heroes and I take this. But I feel like that's a lot of min-maxing. Where you could be like, oh, I'm going to take 6 copies of like the sledgehammer so that I can get a high level, or I'll take like 12 copies of like this sword so that everyone can just pass around this like high level sword. I want that to happen. I just don't want people to like hedge for it. But yeah, let's look at the starting deck and let's customize that a little bit so that I can do this thing. So the first 4 cards should be the 4 characters you choose. Oh my god, stop. This editor is annoying sometimes. It's like if you're gonna resize the window when I remove things, don't move my cursor over to another button. Bard level 1. Knight level 1. Ranger level 1. And Wizard level 1. So these would be your first 4 cards. I need to randomly fill with others. Hey, gang. Welcome back, Nanigans. Arneo, starting with a draft sounds fun. Maybe the size of the deck just depends on how long you want the start draft to last. Yeah. I'm not sure. That's probably going to be a playtesting thing. Oh, no. Sorry, Commander. I remember that. I think most of us have probably had that happen. It's, disruptive. Oh, yeah, you were talking about adding Lua scripting. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so what we want to do... So someone's job... It's got to be someone's job to do this. But just the first time around. Whose job, though, is the question. So the deck manager sets things up and then deals. We need to do this before the deal. But maybe after the setup? Yeah, so we need to do it after setup and before the deal. This ready function should run last, right? Because it's the parent, it's the root node. This runs after all other child ready functions run. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So in here, what we need to do is we need to populate the roster and pull those cards out. We might need to make some more cards today. I didn't really want to do that, but it would help a lot. But yeah, I don't think we're going to start with the card drafting. Like, if my goal, which it still is to get this playtesting session in 3 weeks, to get this game in front of people, I think we're paring it back to just the bare bones of, like, you start with a party, they auto-deploy to the map, you can reposition them, and then you just run combat encounter after combat encounter after combat encounter until, like, you die or whatever. I just want to see people playing the game. There will be plenty of room to add things. And Lord knows people are going to talk my ear off about it. Like, oh, you should add, like, intermittent shops, like in Slay the Spire, or you should do this, or you should do that. And I'll be like, I know. I know, there wasn't time. But it'll be good. You think that's a good minimum game loop? I think it's the minimum game loop, yeah. That still is going to involve some stuff. I think what we're going to need, just for the sake of time, is I'm going to need an easy... Because there's still some systems that we need to make that are going to be non-trivial. The biggest one, honestly, is AI. The enemy turn. Luckily, it's relatively simple, and it's just one character samples some possible moves and, like, picks randomly from them or whatever. I think I'm going to almost exactly take the Into the Breach approach, which has been well documented. I have some nice pinned videos that I've already watched about how they do it. That's cool, Commander. Yeah, everyone wants Bernard in the game. He's a little high res. He's a little high res for the environment. I think he would be like... He would tower over the other characters. But it would be funny. It would be really funny if the druid could, like, turn into Bernard. Maybe he can be the innkeep. I could maybe put him in a scene, like, if you end up in, like, the den of the druid or something at one point. It would be kind of funny. I do wish the set came with more animals. I think the only, like, beast in this pixel set is like wolves, which is a little like mono. It's a little, there isn't as much variety there as I'd hoped, but we're not going to start kit bashing art assets yet. If we get to the point where I'm like, man, I need more content, I'll go look for some more 16 pixel characters, but I don't want to do it now. Druid transform would be funny. The thing is, the visuals of this game is set up with like the Dwarf Fortress style, where all characters are one tile, regardless of their size. So I don't think Bernard. I don't think it's gonna happen with Bernard. I still have an idea for Bare Necessities too, but we'd need the right game jam to come around to make it happen. One of the bosses is Bernard, and it takes 10 minutes for him to come out of his cottage. Look, I semi-fixed that. I did speed him up in the post-jam version, which actually, I don't know if I actually ever released that. I think I did. I'll have to check. I'll have to double check. You know what? Maybe I never finished the post-jam version. That's very likely. I was waiting on it to fix something, and I think I just never did it. Oops. All right, so what we need to do here is we need this procedure where we initialize the party. So we'll have like a function here. We'll have like a built-in function. We'll have like a init party roster. So what we're gonna need to do is we'll go through and we'll pop the top cards off the deck. We can say for I in range. Four. We can say, do we actually have the deck anywhere here? It looks like we do, which is neat. So we have the draw pile. We have access to the draw pile from here. So what we can do is we can say draw pile 0. Well, what we need to do is we need to create the, we can say variable. We can say hero card. Is a hero card is a card. We can just say card. Card equals draw pile dot get card at I. We can say card res. It should be a hero card res, but I don't think it terribly matters. Should probably add some kind of safety here, but I'm not going to do it. All right, take it easy, Commander. Have some good rest of your day. I was like, I'm gonna tell them to have something. I don't know what. Good rest of your day would be good. Good luck. Good. Make good progress on your game. I'd be interested to see it. So we get the card res. What we need to do is we need to go through the party roster process of creating a character. Offloading this to the run manager is a little awkward, but I think we can make this happen. I guess it's good to orchestrate it from up here because we're kind of shortcutting a lot of stuff. We basically need to do this part. You can do all of this. So we need to set up the, so we can say party, what do we call it? Party manager, party roster. That's its own thing, huh? I think this should be like a, I think we should be able to do this somewhere else. Some of this setup. I kind of want like an update roster function that like resizes the party roster based on the content. But we could actually just do it here. We could do it here. You post about it in the Discord. Yeah, I saw it. That's the pinup. The I really like the font and everything. Very, very cool. Arnio, you can't work today. You ate too much chocolate. That's rough. Rhiannon, you're having to use Claude at work. Ugh. You don't love it. It's not been terrible, mostly because you can boot a session on your computer, grab your phone, and go anywhere you want during the day and keep driving it. That's neat. Like normally now you'd be sitting at your PC, but instead you're in bed, trying to rest and switch between stream checking in. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, if you're mostly just, if you've become mostly just a reviewer, you can do that fucking anywhere, right? That's neat. Yeah, I haven't had to do that yet, but if I did, I would certainly be using it to take back my time. That's like the primary thing that I would do. Hey, Nico. How's it going? This looks cool. Oh, it seems cool. Well, see how it looks. Looks all right. Okay, so I was right about... Oh, is setup gonna randomize the deck? Shit. But yeah, this is a roguelike deck builder. Crash. On party tab open. Fig selected. Fig by name. Roster tab. Yeah, okay. Character res. Again, we continue our process of refactor by error. Which is that whenever we do a refactor, we have to wait until all the errors pop up to actually change all the property names. That's maybe the one thing I should do sometimes if I want to do a really big refactor, is I should just open the code in like Writer. Do it in Writer. Because Lord, it sucks to do refactors in the engine. I don't understand why there isn't like a multi-file like property replacement thing. I feel like that's something one could implement, but certainly I'm not going to implement it. All right, so we need to do all of this. We can do this at the end. We can do this way at the end. We can say party manager, party roster, party manager, party mats. this is really stupid. Eventually, I need to make that like a function of the party roster, or of the party manager, I should say. We'll say party manager dot roster count equals 4. Actually, I'll make a const. Say party size. Language server already supports it because you can rename token in VS Code. Someone just has to set up and add it to the editor. Yeah. Not you, though. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I still have my writer subscription. I should probably get some value out of it. Next time I do a big refactor, that's what I'll do. Because I don't day-to-day like to do my GD script editing in writer. It's just, it feels weird. It feels weird to me. But I acknowledge that it's doable. And I should use some of those features. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's VS Code or Writer or whatever. Maybe Nanogans is right and it's mostly the IDE doing the work, but oh god, this sucks. Party manager dot. Kind of abusing the structure of this system here. But I just want to get this working. So we make all the tabs and stuff. So this is the tabs, so we get the tab going. So we'll just make that one section. And then what we need to do is we also need to make the character sheet. So now we need to go back. JetBrains is pretty good about the Godot support. They've definitely ramped up their interest in supporting Godot, including GDScript. Like, they're a corporate sponsor of the foundation, of the development fund. They're definitely taking it more seriously as a potential business focus. Probably because of, you know, all the C# users that come over from Unity every day, but still. So we don't actually need to get this because we already know this. We need to connect the tab. We do need to take a snapshot, but I think that'll just happen. Oh, so what did we say? So we need to stop shuffling on setup. So we need to go to the deck manager. We need to turn off shuffle on setup. But then what we need to do is we need to call the shuffle. We need to say like deck manager dot. Well, how do I shuffle the cards? Do I just need to say draw pile dot shuffle? Yeah, I guess I do. The problem is if we shuffle it, we get all the cards mixed up, and we're actually going to use the card stack as our way to bootstrap the party roster on the first encounter. Yeah, they seem reasonable. I like JetBrains. Like I don't need to have a JetBrains subscription. I could have just used VS Code or whatever, right? But I like JetBrains. They're all right in my book. I don't use a lot of their tools. I mainly has just been Writer, but I like them. I probably don't use it enough to justify the cost, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll be going back to C# in when we go back to, you know, the FTL or we do another project. If I want to do another lightweight simulation-y thing that kind of takes advantage of my ECS. Like if I ever do it, if I go back to doing simulations, I definitely would do something like that. So party tab.press.connect, party manager, party tab. Do it in this order. Actually, I probably should load from card res and then do that. Yeah, that's probably why I did that. Actually, that shouldn't matter, should it? Shouldn't, the order of that shouldn't matter. So we'll do it like this. I definitely need to make this. I definitely need like an instantiate party tab and like an instantiate character sheet function, so I can just invoke that and it can do all of this cleanup, or can do all of this configuration on its own without me having to manually call down like this. Load from card. Is load from card gonna move the card? It is. Okay, good. So I'm like, somebody needs to do this. Somebody needs to take this card. Character sheet added dot emit. Yeah, I guess. Open? No, we don't want to open the character sheet though. All right, so this should initiate the party. Crash, card res, hero card res, card.card data as card. Invalid access, card, draw pile, get card at I. What did this return? Probably return null. I equal 2 though. That's interesting. From 0 to 4, we got to 2 and then we just stopped. How? How and then why? Let's look at the remote tree. What's going on with the card draw pile? We got card 1 and card 3. Oh, you know what? If we're moving the card, that doesn't actually work. So I actually don't... I'm actually going to use I. We're just going to say 0 every time because the card is being moved. That makes a lot of sense. Don't iterate over a thing that a non-existent function call serialize in base nil. Fascinating. On draw finished, deck manager.deal. What the heck? Game manager. Who is this? The save manager? Oh, the game manager's ready function is not going to be run until after timeline.append. Oh shit. Okay, this is a problem. So I'm actually depending on the fact that it takes time to draw cards. If it takes no time to draw cards, this actually fails. But it only fails the first time. Okay, so that's okay. That should be okay. Like, if there's ever a turn where you try to draw and your deck is literally empty because all of your cards are on the board, that shouldn't fail because that's just an initialization problem. So that should be fine. What I need to do is add some more cards to the starting deck. Until you ship any software on it that you were charging for, you qualify for their free license. Yeah, okay. That probably could have saved me quite a nice chunk of change, but sunk cost fallacy. I have the reduced cost resubscription, so I'm saving money, even though I'm saving money that I didn't need to spend. That's the fallacy. What do we want to do? I'm gonna just add additional copies of each of our level 1 cards. Gotta spend money to save money. Exactly. So I'll add a couple more copies of these. Bard, Knight, Ranger. Wizard. Can I actually do this from the registry? Because that'd be pretty slick. So can I add this and then be like, okay, let me add some weapons. Can I click and drag this over? No, because it changes the inspector. It's a shame. Can I? No, it changes the inspector. That's okay. If I actually put this as a thing, card. If I actually saved the starting deck somewhere, that could probably be good. But I actually don't want to save it anywhere. I just want to load a bunch of random cards. Alright, we're heading into ads. Hold on to your ads. What's going on here? Serialize. Player hand. Serialize. Card data. Dot append. Card. Dot card data. Dot serialize. Card in cards. Card data dot append card dot card data dot serialize. Non-existent function serialize in base nil. So riddle me this, man. How is it that any of this is null? Actually, more interestingly, how is it that you have 5 cards in your hand? How'd that happen? Oh, am I trying to deal cards that don't exist? Let's look at the deal function. Deal. If num cards is less than 0, in hand, player hand dot get card count, blah, 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 blah. Pile size, draw pile dot get card count. Await draw pile dot deal 2. If pile size is greater than or equal to, else overflow to deal. If pile size is greater than 0, wait discard pile. I need like a while. Oh, if new pile size is greater than 0, do this. I need an else here. I need to stop. I need to stop this if we straight up run out of cards. Which I don't think is happening. Oh, wait, there's an empty card here. Never mind. Okay. I was like, did we find a bug? I think there might be something there. What the heck is going on with the UI? Character sheet. Oh, you're visible by default. That's a mistake. Classic mistake. A classic blunder. If I'm anything, it's a blunderer. Also, what the heck is going on here? Why is this getting cut off? Firstly. Secondly, why are you the wrong size? So this part worked. I missed the third step, which is we need to randomly place figs in the deployment zone. Which we can turn into like an auto deploy function eventually. Am I skipping something? Sheet highlight dot visible equals false. Why don't I just have that be invisible by default? Oh, it is. That's the sheet highlight, not the party highlight. Why is the party roster being such a weirdo? What about you? No, sheet highlight. Oh, sheet. Hold on. Yeah, that's the sheet. That's a totally different thing. Huh. Something's being weird. Well, let's figure out why you're the wrong size, for one thing. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what's going on. I know stuff. If party size is 4 and we are indexing party size, we should be subtracting 1. And in fact, we can just do this directly. Roster count. +1. That seems wrong. Party mats hover. Wait, why party mats hover? We want party mats. We really don't want hover. We want roster mats. Here we go. My lack of organization is just endlessly wounding me here. And that's like, you can go fast, or you can, you know, be thorough. Cannot do both. Okay, that's still the wrong size. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Party size -1. Roster mats. Let me look at roster mats here. 0, 1, 2, 3. 4. Oh, there's no -1. Okay. I was wrong. No -1. There you go, LSG. All right, that's the right size. Does it interact? No, because the figures haven't been created. So the figures need to be created, and they need to be... Yeah, we need to do this. So we need to generate a random point. Selected tiles.set cell. We just need to do this part, I think. We'll eventually make this like an auto deploy function or something, because we could use this for enemies too. I'm not sure if I want to manually place enemies or randomly. I feel like I'll get a lot more variety if I randomly place enemies. I should manually create the environments, though. Those should be manually made. Like, the actual maps should be manually made. Environment map. Oh, F. We have to do something that I've been putting off, which is getting rid of the environment manager. We originally had this environment manager here because we thought we were gonna swap, like hot swap in like different maps, but because of the way we wrote our serialization system, we don't actually need to load new scenes. We just like reconfigure the existing scene with the new data. So we actually don't need an environment manager. And in fact, we now explicitly do not want one. So what I need to do is basically pop up the environment manager. The environment map. The environment manager was mostly a signal chain kind of deal, so should be fine. In fact, we don't need to do this way either. So we're going to get rid of this. We are going to add in the environment map scene. Put it in the same place. Hook those signals back up, which I forgot where these went. I think they pretty much all went to the party manager. Card drop failed, card token added, card token free, card spent, card character fig selected, character fig unselected. Yeah, these all go to the party manager. And what are the functions called in the party manager? It's not that many signals. There's like half a dozen signals. Signals are good. Signals are your friend. I don't say on environment map, do I? I just say on whatever. Yeah, okay. It's fine. The thing that fucks me up is I always accidentally connect the signal to the root node. My general preference is to connect signals in code, but it's so annoying that I'll do it in the editor when I can, when it's something unchanging, or when the connections are purely within a given scene. I like to just do it, and you can see it. You can kind of visualize it a little better. A little harder to visualize all these code signal connections that you do just entirely in code. You added a namespaced signal bus to your game and you love it? Yeah, that sounds good. A namespaced signal bus. Yeah, what I traditionally do is if it's only a little, I'll signal chain like one level. Like we were signal chaining up from the environment map to the environment manager. And that's okay to me. It's not great, but it's okay. But if it's more than one level, I signal up directly to an auto load, and my signal bus just ends up being an auto load, so that you only ever signal up one layer and you only ever signal down one layer, like, or call down. Like it's only ever one step. That's my preference. I don't like big long signal chains where you're like relaying across multiple levels. That hurts me. Oh yeah, and like Nanigan said, you really only need to keep track of the people implementing the signal, really. Okay, so that's all good. Is this in the right spot? It is not. So this position needs to be... So now what we do is we go to the environment manager. We take care of all of this stuff. So this needs to go here. HDD. Oh, were we doing this in 2 places? Totally. Of course we were. So position 14444, scale 22. That's all I need to do. What did I say? 14444? Yeah, that's what I said. Position 14444. Scale 22. There we go. All set. Simple. Probably nothing else, unless the environment manager was listening to any signals. Let me double check. The serialization chain is going to be broken, so let's fix that. Connect environment map signals. So party manager, party tab closed, and party tab opened. It is nice to have a list of signal connections, I'm not going to lie. So I need to connect a couple signals back. So we want party tab closed and party tab opened. I think that's the right function. I hope that's the right function. Yes. I think I know what Godot contact you're talking about, LSG. Yeah, I just do top layer. I understand the name spacing. That's reasonable. I feel like anyone who's done anything in C# is comfortable with that idea. Or if not comfortable, understanding it. But yeah, I like just having one level up and down. But name spacing, it makes some sense. We don't do anything with this, or did I name this wrong? Or, I did the thing. See, I did the thing I always do, which is I accidentally connect the signal to the root node. Literally every single time. At some point while I'm connecting signals, I do that. Luckily, it jumps you to the receiver method. Whether it's like a new one or one it just create or one that already exists, which really helps. Yeah, there we go. Signals connected. Anything else we're missing here? Signal chaining, connections, serialize, init. Nope, we can get rid of this. Time to get rid of that. Time to get rid of both of these. Goodbye. We do need to update our serialization chain, our recursive serialization call here. So you need to the map. You need to know about said map. Arneo asks about breaking things. Like when you free up things from memory that are still connected via signals. It actually, the system automatically disconnects signals when objects are freed. You know, that doesn't handle the case of you're like, you know, I instantiated this thing, I need to connect the signal. But like, that's easy to do. But yeah, the signal cleanup seems to happen automatically, which is nice. So you don't need to keep track of and remember all of the things, all of the signal connections your object has when it gets queued, freed. It just disconnects those when it's getting freed. What's this GodotCon talk? I feel like I was at this talk. Yeah, events are the way to Godot. Yeah, I did see this talk. I was there. Yeah, an event bus is cool. I feel like with Godot, you don't even need a bus. Oh my god, it's playing an ad. Okay, so I did that. So now, did I do that for deserialize too? Environment map.deserialize. Save data. Environment map. Maybe you're seeing imaginary devils. No, it's fair. Signals are a bit twitchy voodoo magic. No, do it. Use them. If there was a crowd shot, there are not many. There are not many at those talks. I think you can maybe see the back of my head in a couple of them. On the ones where I sit like way up front, but I'm sad I didn't get to go this year. It seemed like it was even better than last year, just from some little bits and pieces I heard from people who went. Now, hopefully next year. Hopefully next year I'll go. I'll hopefully be showcasing a released version of my game. If not released fully, then at least like EA or something. But yeah, I'm definitely visible in some of them. Okay, so we don't have a card name. We don't have a cursor map. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to pick a position. So what's a good way to do that? What we want to do is we want to say while environment map dot fig by tile dot has whatever random we'll say variable spawn tile, I don't know, vector 2i. Say random tile, maybe. So it needs to be a random vector. And what we need to do is it needs to be a random vector that fits the deployment zone. So it needs to be from environment map dot depth zone. Is there a way to get a random point from like a rect 2i? That'd be kind of sick. No, I guess I'll just do a random range from position to position plus size -1. Bold of you to hope Rect 2i does anything cool. I know, I hate Rect 2i so much. It is such trash. I'm gonna say variable x range going to be environment map dot depth zone dot position dot x, and then it will be environment map dot depth zone dot position dot x plus environment map dot depth. I hate this so much. We're gonna do this somewhere else later. I just want to get it working, and right now it makes the most sense to do it here. Should it be plus size minus starting from position? Like, if it's a rect2i of one tile, will the size be 1? Or will the size be 0? I don't know, actually. But we'll find out. But yeah, rect2i is the worst. I'd say get wrecked, but it already did, right? Too late. So we'll pick some tiles. We'll say random randi range from x range dot x to x range dot y. This is really dumb, but it will work. And you know what? That's good enough. So we'll say while environment map.figbytile.has this random tile. And then we'll just keep generating tiles until we get one that doesn't. Hey, Oak the Wise, what's up? Not much. We're working on adding a little auto deployment system to this roguelike deck builder so we can get our minimum little game loop going. We were working in a sandbox, but now we need the actual progression. How's it going? Character fig.position needs to be environment map.map to local rand tile. I need to break this out into functions on the given node whose responsibility it is, but we're just going to do this top down for now. I much prefer to do all of the behavior like in situ where it makes sense, and then encapsulate it out later as I either need to use it more than once or it matures to the point where I feel like I can hide it away. Right now, we'll just do it in place. I should probably save card name somewhere, but we're not going to do it. Not going to do it. All right, that should also create the character figure. Do I need to do anything else? I don't think so. Probably I'm missing something. And you know, that's what happens. How far along are you on the game? We've been working on it around a couple of months. 2 months, maybe we've been working on this. Progress has been pretty good for our first card game. Hey, we randomly deployed on the first try. What do you know? Let's do that again. Hey, we one-shot it. Oh, we're too far, though. So that lets us know that size is overcounted by 1. So we do need to subtract. Is this open? Hey, the character sheet's open. Luke and good here on that front. We do need to fill the deck with the rest of the cards. It looks like you can partially draw from an empty deck and it doesn't break, which is good. I didn't know that. It's excellent. Hey, Fusionist, how you feeling? Pretty good today. Danik attack. When the time complexity is dependent on sampling without replacement. That sounds smart. You love the UI? I appreciate that, Danik. Danik attack. I get that. That's a good name. That's most of what we've been working on. I've never made a card game before, so I was like, we're gonna start with, yeah, we're over deploying off of the board here. Ooh, that is an interesting issue here. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we've spent a lot of effort on the UI. We have undo redo, which I can't really show at the moment. I guess I could play this, undo it, redo it. We've got a lot of stuff to do to actually handle the character interacting with the screen and the UI and everything. What we're working on now is getting the actual little turn-based battle map going, because this is a roguelike deck builder where all of your cards are your characters and their equipment and their abilities and stuff. So the cards are all the nouns, and then the battles actually play out in this little turn-based tactics little board, a lot like Into the Breach. How's everyone doing? You too, I'm working on your first roguelike deck builder. Oh, hell yes. If you want to share progress as you go along, or like brainstorm or troubleshoot or whatever, we do have Discord. Kind of like an auto battler. No, you will need to fully control the outcome of the battles. You must have taken some of your fatigue. That's what Rhiannon said. I was like, I'm feeling better today, and Rhiannon was like, I'm so much more tired today. So I think I have just kind of energy farmed chat, apparently. Sorry about that. All right, so we need to subtract the range by 1. -1. -1. That should give us the right size. Yeah. Okay, well, random deployment worked. The next thing is to, whilst in the deployment phase, be allowed to reposition the characters. So that's the next thing we got to do. I removed all the cards from the deck, which is why the deck doesn't seem to have any cards right now, so don't worry about it. I would like to show people the rest of the cards, but I kind of need to finish making them. We did add a cool card resource registry. We added Yard, yet another resource database, to let us build our cards in the editor like this, which is pretty slick. I've already built a lot of them, like weapons, some weapons and armor and stuff, but they're all just for the knight. So I need to build item cards for the 3 other starting characters. And I also need to start building abilities. We need to brainstorm some abilities sometime. Maybe we'll do that this weekend. That might be a fun thing to do, like Saturday. Brainstorm some card abilities. Hope everyone's doing well. Keep it up. You love seeing it come together. Yeah, thanks. Me too. It's coming together quicker, certainly quicker than our other game, which is nice. Still not quick enough, but quicker. Oh, I wanted to mention to Oak, there is a super cool roguelike auto battler card game coming out called Grail that someone just showed me. Super cool. It looks really neat. It's more of a PvP game, but it's like you build your deck and then the computer just top decks. The two characters just top deck battle each other. which is pretty interesting. You can't have a lot of complicated like card combos necessarily if you're just top decking, but it can still happen. It seems cool, and it speeds up as it goes, so like as more cards play, it gets faster and faster and faster. It's a neat trick. I'm glad I didn't try to make a roguelike auto battler deck builder, because it would have been worse than this one. So I'm glad I didn't go for that. Ooh, there's some Z fighting here. Z fighting spotted. But yeah, that's that. I'm interested to try that game. Shenanigans, you're tired today. You stayed up till 2:30. Oof. Oof. Yeah, the biggest things for me has been to just go to sleep on time. Eat well and go to sleep on time. I need to add another wheel, which is exercise. I think I'll have a lot more energy if I start exercising. Danik, you gotta learn how to use resources in Godot. Resources are pretty good in Godot for exactly one use case. Well, it's more than one use case, but it's a great use case where there's like a common structure, but there are discrete. It's like you could think of resources as the elements of a set that you need to enumerate, and you want to actually save a thing that represents a specific like value in a set. Where like, so like I have my cards, and their cards all have certain structures for different kinds of cards, and I can use a resource to define a particular card. And that card is then shared across, you know, everything. Anyone who references that card gets that particular resource. So it's not great for data that is like very fluid or dynamic or changing all the time, but it's really great for like compile time constant data, in my opinion. Or data that just doesn't change. Data that you define that represents like a discrete thing that you might reference in multiple places. It's not great for like I have character sheets, and character sheets represent like the particular stats of like a given character in play. So like once I've played a card, now that character's in the roster and they can gain experience and stuff, right? Like that character sheet isn't a resource because that doesn't make sense because their character sheet is changing all the time. And each character is like unique. But like it makes a lot of sense to use a resource for the card, the underlying card that character represents, that I used to like initially play it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Resources equal data. Yeah, Nanigans, that's a little reductive, but yeah. Everything equals data, Nanigans. Myth, how's your experience with Yard? Oh, did you hear me talking about it, or did you just spot it? You used resource tables before, and it would occasionally freeze up. I've only been using Yard for a day. I set it up last night as an alternative to doing what I did before, which is I had a custom like spreadsheet system where I could like pull CSV files down and then sync or generate the resources needed for each card. That was tedious, and I didn't feel like I got a lot of utility out of it, but even like look at this. Like, so every character has icons associated with their different equipment slots. And it depends on the character type, it depends on the level. And it's really neat to just, like, in the spreadsheet version, these were all like UIDs and stuff, and it like sucked. But in this version, I get to see this nice table of like, here are all of the different icons that these cards use, and it's like really easy to spot mistakes and like copy stuff over and everything. So I like it so far, and I can still have my, you know, my traditional like numeric. It's not great for lists of things, so I think it's not going to be as nice for like my tags as I like. Like here's weapon proficiencies, and like there's not really room. Yeah, if I mouse over, it'll show me the numbers for the enum, but maybe what I need to do is swap the enum numbers with strings, so I could actually see the list of weapon proficiencies. But when you pick one of these, it just brings it up in the inspector anyway, so you can then go look at like. But it's cool. There's something else cool about Yard too, which is that it has a query system. It has like a very low overhead query system. So I can be like, and you just index, you just tell it which properties of the resources you're interested in querying. And then you can be like, I can be like, give me the card that is barred level 3. Like, give me the card that fulfills the requirement of being the bard at level 3. Or I could be like, give me all of the weapons that deal bludgeoning damage or something like that. Like, kind of neat. Kind of neat. I recommend Yard, having only used it for like a day. I think it's kind of neat. Shenanigans. Classes equal the things that do stuff. Resources equals the data that you provide to your game. Ah, yes. But you can put functions in resources, Nanigans. How does that complicate your worldview? I like your idea, and honestly, I think that's how resources should be used. But that constraint is not inherently in the thing. You can, but you don't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Functional programmers rejoice, yeah. Well, auto deploy was easier than I thought it was going to be, so that's nice. I think I've changed my mind about this new layout for the card, the hero card. I think I want to add the character name back. And the only real decision is whether to add it at the top or to add it underneath. Probably underneath. I'll probably go back to having like a namespace here. So that it could be like the Bard, and they could be named like Jeff. My name is Jeff. Yeah, your understanding is resources are defining structures. Structured static data when you want to be able to easily configure and view them. Yes. Specifically data that doesn't really change unless it changes on like a global level for everyone using it, right? Which is unusual. But it's possible. But yeah, it's great. It's great for name top, add a little the. Ooh. There isn't room, but that's a cool idea. I was going to have the name underneath, which is what we had before. I can probably bring that up because I don't think I've actually overwritten it. Oh, there's some embarrassing pictures of me. Where's this thing? Nope, not there. Here we go. Here's like what it used to be, where it'd be like, it's a knight. His name is Joffrey. There isn't really room to have like a the, but that's kind of neat. But yeah, I think I'm going to go back to this. I think this is just way more visually pleasing. I guess we could get rid of this bar. I guess that would provide enough room for a the. Card the Bard. There you go. I don't know. To me, the name was secondary because I think the name is going to shuffle every time they die. Like, I can think every time the character dies and then you replay the card, they get a new name. So to me, the name was secondary because it's very ephemeral. I would also probably add a little edit box eventually so that you could set your own name. What do you want a Wilbur? Are you trying to will this burr into existence here, Arneo? You were just asked to edit, if you could edit and put your friend's name in there. Yeah, because I think some people, even though I auto-change the name every time you play the character, I think some people will be like, they'll want to like change it back. Or they'll be like, This is Jeff number 5. This is Mickey 17, you know? I think people will want to do that. All right, so how are we going to do this? You can freely reposition the character. We'll need to know... Because, yeah, this sucks. What I've got going on here is terrible. I wanted to give more space because I gave the equipment cards more space. But I've changed my mind. Changed my mind on that one. But yeah, init party roster worked first time. That's great. You love to see it. What are we gonna do next? The name is smaller than the class. Even if it comes first, the visual weight makes it secondary. Yeah, that's probably true. I'll probably still have it in the order I've described, but... Should reuse the name and add a junior or the third or whatever. Yeah. We'll see. How about a custom name pool so they don't have to change it during play? Maybe. Maybe. Someone told me that what it really is like an acknowledgement of the fact that, like, characters are constantly, like in D&D, you're constantly, like, characters are constantly not being healed, and they're just, you just wait for them to get downed and then bring them back. It's not quite that because of the loss of leveling and levels and stuff, but it's more representative of, like, an actual party member death. But it is supposed to call out and cheekily poke fun at, like, how disposable heroes are sometimes. And we'll definitely make fun of it and acknowledge it in the story. Of, like, just adventurers. Because someone made a fun joke, which was like, they were talking about how, like, mimics were their favorite monsters because it's so crazy that mimics could evolve an adaptation to make them appear like treasure. And they were able to eat so many adventurers that their species actually evolved this adaptation. Obviously, that's applying a very silly thing to something that's probably, you know, more simple to explain, but I thought it was fun. You're thinking along a similar line with XCOM? Oh. Yeah. XCOM is brutal. I'm actually consciously opposing that kind of a method. Like a lot of what my game is kind of a rejection of, like, the Darkest Dungeon style and which is very much like XCOM, where you spend all of this time investing into the character just for them to, like, die, and it's like a major setback. So in this game, the characters and all of their equipment and stuff, when they die, you lose whatever incremental experience they gained, you know, up to the next level. If they make it to the next level, they level up, and then when they... See, I can just show it to you. So, like, this isn't the right tuning, but, like, I can take this Bard card, play it on this Bard. You can see the XP goes up and their level goes up. It'll take more than one card to level someone up, and it'll probably be exponential. There's 6 levels, so now if the Bard dies, instead of 2 level 1 Bard cards coming into your discard, you get 1 level 2. So you'll only lose whatever the gap is between, and you'll still get the cards back, so you don't actually lose anything except, you know, the opportunity cost of, like, having played them and not playing something else. So this is kind of a rejection of, like, the Darkest Dungeon thing, because I want death to be a setback, but I don't want it to be, like, a major setback. So it's like, oh no, my level 4 Bard died. They had all of this equipment on them. They were, like, halfway to level 5. Now I have to like play another bard card. I either have to wait for my high level bard card to come back through the deck, or I have to play some lower level bard card that I managed to draw. I have to put the equipment back on them. You know, it's supposed to represent a certain setback, but it shouldn't be like, I don't want it to be like, oh no, I just lost 60 hours or like whatever the kind of shit happens in XCOM or Darkest Dungeon, you know? Where you're like, oh, my Darkest Dungeon A team died. Time to spend 10 hours building the B team into the new A team. Kind of a rejection of that, but still a heavy impact of death is the goal. Gotta say though, winning in Darkest Dungeon feels incredible because of the stakes. Yeah, I like that too. And this game is called Party Wipe, so it's like the thing you're trying to avoid is the entire party dying. Like, you can be on the ropes in this game a lot. In theory, this is the intention. Obviously, the game is still early. But the intention is that you are on the ropes and, like, your party is almost never going to be at full strength. Like, you're just trying to get through the next encounter and then the next encounter after that. And you just need to avoid everyone dying. The lost condition is everyone dying simultaneously, right? No more party members on the board. That's the death, the fail state. Does this also thin your deck? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Truly you are wise. So yeah, you'll be getting new cards every encounter at like lower levels, and you're trying to combine them together to get higher level versions of weapons and abilities and characters. And that thins your deck, because otherwise your deck would be enormous. Your deck will probably also be pretty big because each character has like 8 character slots. Actually, each character has, watch me not know this. They have 7 pieces of armor, 2 weapon slots, a potion slot, a food slot, and then up to 5 ability slots that progressively unlock as they get higher level. Does this actually work? So if I level this up, so this doesn't work. We're actually not dynamically changing the ability slots on level up, because this slot should unlock. I'm gonna fix that right now, because I've noticed that a couple of times and it's bothering me. Hey Fender, you're officially a pro coder. You managed to center a div with no help. That's funny. All right, update display. So character res.get equipment. So if we look at our registry, I do have this set up correctly. If we go over here to the ability locks, you can see we go from lock to unlock as we go higher up in levels. So it's a little weird that this is not behaving correctly. So yeah, this ability icon 1 should have become unlocked when we leveled up. For some reason that didn't happen, which means we either just aren't updating the display correctly upon level up. That's probably what's happening. Say level up care. Yeah, we aren't triggering a display update, which we should. We should do that at the end of a level up. Let's see if that by itself fixes this. I'm hoping it does. Because it does initialize correctly based on the card data. Alright, see a Sapphire? You like the strat idea? Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so now... Nope, didn't actually do anything. Hum. Home. Update display. For slot, equipment card res slot, and equipment card res slot dot values. Slot icon is equip slot icon. Equip icons by slot. Oh, I have this? Why did I make the other thing? Dictionary slot. Texture rect. Oh, that's the texture rect. I have another one that's the property list. Right. Oh, Rhiannon, subscribing with Prime. Thank you so much. Fender, you didn't copy and paste it. That's programming. Honestly, copying and pasting is also programming. All right, slot icon dot texture. So if equipment dot has, well, we don't really care about that. Otherwise, slot icon dot texture equals character res dot get equipment card res dot slot icon name slot. So we get the property from the character res. So as long as the character res is being updated when we level up, which it should be, it's not. That would be it. That would be the problem then. Character res equals card res. Actually, we can just do that down here. New card. Can I just say card.new.move to? Do we need to do it like this? I don't think we do. I can put this down here. We don't actually care about the new card. Well, that explains why that wasn't working. We weren't actually changing the underlying data. Happy to contribute your Bezos bucks. Thanks for all the streams. Thank you. Again, the streams are really made by the are really, you know, it's really you all. Hey, it worked. We unlocked the first door. And then what if I undo? Hey, it's back. Great. You'll love to see it. And then if I redo. Hey, all right. That's enough. That's enough of that. It worked. Okay. That was bothering me. But yeah, you gain ability slots as you level up. So there's 5 ability slots for 6 levels. So level 1 characters don't have access to any ability slots. And then this is where the fun stuff would be. Like a bard might have like Vicious Mockery or I don't know. I'll have to come up with some of my own that are evocative of D&D spells without necessarily being, you know, trademark infringing. Like maybe a bard gets a spell called Rock and Roll that deals like magical bludgeoning damage. That just came off the top of the head, you know. We do need an ability brainstorming session. I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it on Saturday as like a fun weekend activity. Because I need to make the rest of the equipment cards. I've only made the set of equipment cards for the night. One day your game will sell 5 copies and then you can spread the channel without charity. Don't worry about it, Arneo. No one needs to subscribe. If you already have Bezos bucks, that's fine. Vicious Mockery becomes Epic Diss. More like Epic D's. First time you've seen this guy actually do something. Oh my god, Fender. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Talk about Vicious Mockery. Alright, what are we gonna do now? Oh yeah, so the thing we need to do now, and we have about an hour to do it, is to make it so that the characters can be moved around arbitrarily during the deployment phase. Whose job is it to tell us if we're in the deployment phase? I want to say the turn manager, but I think the turn manager is not an auto load. That might be a mistake, but I don't think it should be. I think it's fine this way. I think it's fine this way up until a point. I guess the party manager knows about the turn manager. So the party manager could be like when we select a character. I guess the environment map, I guess everybody knows about the turn manager. I guess it's fine. So the turn manager could totally have like a deployment phase. You could say like variable in deployment phase bool equals true. So we'll start in the deployment phase, I guess. Actually, that might cause a problem. Maybe we don't start in the deployment phase. Run manager? Maybe the run manager is the one that should know this. Yeah, I guess this is fine because the turn manager also needs to keep track of the round number. I guess I should shorten this. How is positioning going to play a role? Overall, it's a turn-based tactics game, so characters all have movements, their weapons and abilities all have, you know, characteristics, like there's bows and spears and swords. So the card stuff is just setting everything up and making sure your characters, you know, it determines what characters you have, what equipment they have, what they can do, and then you still need to battle it out on the board. So positioning is key. There will be an auto-deployed set of enemies based on whatever encounter you're in. So the friendly deployment zone is on the left, and the enemy deployment zone is on the right. And not every map is going to be this boring. This is just my sandbox. But they're all going to be about this size. So the battle map is a 9x6 space, which is about, it's a little smaller than the Into the Breach map, but we're already pretty tight on space, so I don't want to go much smaller. I could shrink things up a little bit, honestly. I probably could probably tighten things up a bit. Not much though, based on what we have here in terms of spacing. What happened? Oh, I played that there. I do need more cards. We need to get some more cards in here. Maybe I'll work on that tonight. That's like a sit in the dark and make cards kind of thing. LSG, you've almost made enough in ad revenue to sub with your spendable balance. Don't do that. That's the worst. Bezos, Jeff Bezos, Fender, Bezos bucks. That's what we call prime subs. But yeah, LSG, the very worst thing that you can do is like make money on Twitch and then spend it on another Twitch streamer. That's just an ever decrementing circle of just giving Jeff more and more of our money. So don't do that. Absolutely do not reinvest your money like that. I would like to sub to more Twitch streamers, but I understand how annoying that is from like oh we're just that's like when like devs are just like trading the same money around. That's not good. I know it's not an amount that matters, but still the principle of the thing. Feeling serious burnout, LSG? Yeah, I am too, but you know, you just power through it and you just try to take better care of yourself. You just gotta pause long enough to reset. Make sure, you know, you're sleeping enough, you're eating well, hopefully you're getting exercise. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta go slow to go fast. The dogs are getting you some exercise. That's good. That's good. Yeah. It's a vicious cycle if you don't do that. Otherwise, you end up staying up too late trying to make up for the work that you weren't able to do during the day because you were burnt out, and that just burns you out more. You got to break the cycle. I don't know what you're talking about, Fender, but that's all right. If I had a nickel every time someone said something I didn't understand, I would not be working full time. Well, I would not be working this much. LSG, you're done with late nights. You can't do it anymore. Yeah, I've stopped. I've all but stopped. I've all but stopped with the late nights because it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. I actually realized it's kind of unfortunate originally in the long ago that nobody remembers because I don't think there's anyone here from that time. But I used to do my streaming before work. I used to do it like first thing in the morning because that is my time. That is the time that I am like ready to go. And it's kind of unfortunate because I don't do that now. And I probably won't ever go back to that. I'm probably an afternoon streamer, just the way my life is set up and the way my work is set up and everything. But yeah, you got to find the time that really works for you and carpe that diem. All right, what are we doing? We're trying to make it so that characters can be arbitrarily repositioned while we're in the development phase. Who really needs to know this? It's like the environment map only, right? So instead of move, what we probably want is another function called redeploy. That works a lot like move, except it doesn't have a cost associated with it. That's probably what we want to do. This is very similar, isn't it? Get character sheet.exact. So we don't need to exact a move cost. We do want to take a snapshot though. So we just take out the exacting the move cost phase of this. LSG, you might move your stream an hour earlier. Ending at 11 p.m. is a little much. Yeah, it depends. You can find a lot of success if you find a good time. Like Boolean. Boolean is like the king of the afternoon streams. I feel like he's just got a time slot that's just really good. And it seemed effective with that for him. But it's like you find a spot that's like really good. That just seems to be, you know, it's got to be good for you, obviously, but you can definitely find a nice spot where like everyone's kind of wrapping up, so you get a lot of raids. I stream at kind of an awkward point. I think I stream a little too... I think I stream both a little too late and a little too early. I think I stream at like a little bit of a weird time, but it's all right. It works. All right, so now we can redeploy Selected fig. And now where would we do this? You know what? We can actually have the deployment phase bool here. Because this is a value that we're going to reset every time we reload a new encounter. Basically, every time we reload the environment map, we'll be in the deployment phase by definition. So we can actually have this be here. Rather than on the turn manager. This actually makes sense. All right, so now this is my this section of the code here is my shame. This is my personal shame. This is the section of the code that's a process function, which I hate so much. But it's the one part of the code that can't just be a signal or like an input like an input function or something. It just has to be this based on the way the card plugin works and everything. And I hate it, and it's my deep shame, but it's luckily the only one of these. This is so often how input functions look like. It's just like one monstrous nested if else statement that handles like every case. It's so gross. But where would we put? So here we can say else. So we kind of want an elif in deployment phase, because we want to treat this differently if we're in the deployment phase. Maybe not all of it. If fig selected, character sheet, preview, move. Yeah, actually maybe all of it. So I think we're gonna add a new branch. I think we're gonna have a elif in deployment phase. This doesn't make me that happy, but it should work. It should work. We shouldn't need to clean up the move line layer. Cursored tiles, maybe. These ones we do need to clean up. If fig selected, get character sheet, preview move cost. Preview move cost. No, we don't need to do that. So we can skip that branch. Where are we? Where did we go? Where did we go? There we go. This back button doesn't really do what I expect it to do. It's not like one-to-one. Late night web devs make games co-work stream. I do pop into those. I do pop into LSG streams sometimes. It's nice to. I don't always chat. The most uncanny thing about that is that LSG has the same radio I do. It's so weird to me. I don't know why it's so weird. It's both comforting and unsettling. It's a chill vibe. You just hated how tired you've been towards the end of the stream. Yeah, no, I feel that. That's me. I actually am fatigued at the beginning of the stream. I get kind of a second wind during the stream. I think I get the classic bell curve of energy especially if I do a long stream. I'm usually very low energy at the start, and then I get riled up. Then you all just rile me up. and then I eventually remember that I'm tired. But doing pretty good today. I had a lot of cups of coffee before the stream went live. That helps. You're gonna have to stop bad mouthing Dave in LSG's chat. Oh, I see it. I see it, Rhiannon. Arneo, you're gonna start bad mouthing Dave in LSG's chat just to check. We'll see. If you feel a sharp pain, that's just me. That's just me inserting needles into like the voodoo doll that I have constructed of chat. LSG, you've had such bad luck with pretzel. You just have to stick with what works. Oh no. I've also had bad luck with pretzel. It's been pretty good lately, but yeah, I've reached a sunk cost fallacy level with pretzel, which is unfortunate. All right, so we do this if map zone dot has point and not was card dropped. That doesn't really matter. We could have dropped a card in the deployment phase, couldn't we? So I'm gonna do the worst thing ever, which is to just copy this over. And then change it. Now we gotta go through this and change this. So if fig by tile has cursor map, fig blah blah blah, select characters, that's all right. Elif fig selected and that move. This can't be move. This can't be move. It can be fig selected and fig selected dot character tile not equals cursor map. If fig selected and fig selected dot character tile is not equal to cursor map and bound tiles dot has cursor map. Is that gonna work the way I think it does? I actually don't know, but let's see. Let's just say move path. Where do we define the move path? If fig selected, bound tiles, if character sheet dot is moving. So this is the juicy part here. This is where we're gonna handle redeploy. So we can get rid of this. We don't need to. Actually, we can get rid of all of these. Actually, maybe not that one, but the rest of these we can get rid of. Fig by tile is cursor map, focus tiles, that's press tiles. That's all fine. Yeah, I am so embarrassed by this section of my code. But it's the way we interface with the tile map layer, and there's just like not a much better. There's not much of a better way. Just pray to Toby Fox that I will be forgiven for this. Hey, Kilganon, what's new? How long will it take to finish this game? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm thinking about a year probably. I just hate it so much, shenanigans. I don't ever want to do this kind of stuff. This to me is like I've failed, which is like there's certain situations where you have no choice but to do this. If that's true, you probably want a physics process and not a process. But I do not like just running this huge check every single frame. We only do this in one place, so I'm gonna say it's okay. But part of the beauty of Godot to me is that you can do so much stuff with like signals, and like callbacks and everything. That it's like, it's almost never necessary to do this sort of thing. But sometimes it is, and this is the bread and butter of games programming, is these really stupid nested conditional checks. I hate it, because I know I could do better, but because of the card plugin we're using, I literally can't, which is unfortunate. If we weren't using the card plugin, well, we would have had to come up with our own solution, and that's its own thing. So, look, just let me have my code in security, okay? I'm on the wrong branch. And now it's really bad, because now I'm managing multiple branches that are very similar but slightly different. Now it's like I'm truly in the worst possible position here. So this changes to this. This becomes redeploy selected fig. And I think that's the only change for now. Actually, we need to change this part. So forget this character sheet is moving thing. We can actually... No, we want to do the bound tiles thing. We do want to do the bound tiles thing. If fig selected, what we want to do is we want to... We don't want to rebuild this every goddamn frame, but that's what we're currently doing. We can skip this path stuff. We don't need to draw a path. We don't need to do that. Right? No, we don't need to do that. So we can skip that. If I'm going to clear either way, why don't I just do it at the top? Well, because I actually don't want to, huh? I really don't want to, but we're going to. We're going to continue to do this. But that does mean I can get rid of one of these branches down here. Oh no, I don't care about it in terms of the expense of the loop. It's just in principle. It just feels yucky. It just feels yucky. Yeah, it's a code smell to me, regardless of the expense. Yeah, it's not the nesting of the it's the I hate that I have to do this every single frame. But because I can't depend on a signal, I do. And if I was able to depend on a signal, we wouldn't nearly need this many checks, because the signal would be able to provide me a lot more information about what state we're in. It's just gross. It's because the card, when you're dragging a card, it blocks the mouse input. So it prevents me from doing any clever stuff there. Even with pass, it still blocks the mouse input. Is this something that actually needs to be checked every frame, or can you run it every 6 frames? I don't need to do either. What I should do is have a thing that says, has our position changed? Like, what I really need to do is have a last cursor position thing. Where's cursor map? Somewhere here is a variable called cursor map. There it is. What I really need to do is have like a prior map kind of thing, like a, you could say prior tile, previous tile or something. And what I really need to do is just check to see if that's changed. I was just lazy and we're just doing it every frame. But we really only need to do it if this has changed. If cursor map does not equal to the prior tile. That's the only time we really need to do it. And it's kind of dumb that I was doing that. Or that I was not doing that. So what we can do here is we can say if figure selected and cursor map is not equal to the prior tile, then we're not doing it every single frame. Although it still has us doing this every single frame, which seems bad. Actually, that's okay. Actually, we don't want to do it like this then. Shit. Here, we actually want to nest this a little bit more. More nesting. Ugh. Gross. absolutely gross. That helps. That helps save us from having to do this every single frame. I think that'll work. We'll see. We'll see if that works. I think we have the same problem with our auto tiler, but I'm not that worried about it. Auto tiling is actually really cheap for this scale. All right. Keeping an eye on the clock. I have a as they say in the biz, I have a hard stop at 3. And I need a little time before that. But we still got some time. We still got time. We're still chilling. So I'm going to add this check up here. Okay, here it can be combined. We can say fig selected and cursor map is not equal to prior tile. This way we're at least not doing it every single frame. We don't want this if character sheet is moving thing. Don't want that. This should work. The only question is, do I want to omit? Oh, also move value is wrong. What we can do actually, map zone, map zone. We want to do this differently here. We want to do this based on the deployment zone. So we want to say depth zone. We want to iterate through the depth zone. And then we want to omit. So dx selected.characters times dx is less than. So we don't need to know this distance x shit. What we want to do is we want to say if not fig by tile dot has vector 2i xy, and we add that. So I actually don't need the character sheet. That's easier. Do I need the rest of this? Probably. At some point, we will have to table this and circle back. I just want to make sure that we've aligned our vision first and synergized. This stream could have been an email. Ugh. That's like just a knife through the heart. All right, I have to look this up because now JJ is messing with me here. How's it going, JJ? Oh, this is an orator named Michael Stevens, aka Vsauce. I'm told I look like him. I'll take it. I'll take it. I have more hair than him, but not for long. Very much not for long. All right, I'll take it. That's better than what I've been told in the past. I don't think this camera makes it look like, but in person, people will tell me I look like Will Forte, and that also hurts. That's like nothing against him, you know, as a person, but not my favorite comparison. All right, I probably broke an absolute metric ton of things, so let's see. Okay, well this isn't doing what I'd hoped it would do. Just unfortunate. Card play still seems to work, which is good. This stream could have been an email. So crazy. So brutal. It's fine, I'm fine. LSG, you were tying yourself out playing a game that's like a job. That's part of the that's part of why I can't play Factorio. I keep trying to like run Factorio and play it, but it feels so much like work. It feels exactly like the work that I'm doing making this game. It uses way too many of the same parts of my brain. There's like way too much overlap, and I'm sure Satisfactory is like that as well. Yeah, I think for someone dealing with burnout, a factory game is a rough is a rough recreational activity. We know, Nanigans, we know. All right, so why is this branch not... Oh, you know what I'm not doing is I'm not declaring that we're in the deployment phase. Which would explain we're never getting to that branch. Hey, that kind of works. That kind of works. It doesn't exactly work because we're not previewing where the character is. But you'll notice that we are carving out the spots that already have characters on them. I don't know if I love the way that looks, but... Oh, well, now it's not doing it. Oh, it's only doing it? Oh, that's a mistake. Yeah, I don't know if I love this detail. I think visually I want to do the whole deployment zone. I don't want to carve it out. We'll just, when you try to move, we'll only let you move onto another spot. That's fine. Let's make that swap. We'll make that swap. That simplifies this a lot, because now we can just iterate through. We can remove this check. We can just set all of those. The problem is that changes our movement logic quite a bit. At least for the redeploy. So here, we need to say elif fig selected and fig selected.character tile is not cursor map. And so we don't want this and bound tile. Well, we do want this. We want and bound tiles has and not fig by I hate how long I've made this. And not fig by tile dot has fig selected dot character tile. Actually, it can just be cursor map. Where are we doing the preview though? Mapzone has point and not was card dropped. Oh shit, we actually don't do that. We actually don't. Hey Oak, you gotta head out. No worries, thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Should go back to Fallout. Probably should. My unwinding game, which I ranted about a lot yesterday, was Sol Sesto, and I'm enjoying that a lot. Oh, there's like people watching us on YouTube. That's new. Hi, YouTube. YouTube usually doesn't show this to people. Okay, so we have a number of problems. One is that we don't actually redraw, and I actually see the problem here. So that prior tile thing we were doing, I'm gonna undo it. Because while it was a nice optimization, it's actually just kind of fucking with us a little bit. Hey, Machiavelli. Oh, they're smooth in a second over there on YouTube. YouTube, hey, YouTube's giving you a run for your money, Twitch chat. We're just gonna do this every time, every frame, because we don't care, because we're only doing it once. I don't mind doing something if we're gonna do it once every frame, let's do it once every frame, am I right? It really doesn't matter for a single system this lightweight. It'll probably work more correctly. You haven't played a game in at least a month, Rhiannon? Oh. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So now, here's a few things. Now it shows us where we could redeploy. And it lets us do it. I would like it to preview that. Like the card token system. But it does let us freely redeploy, which is kind of what we wanted. We're just not providing the player enough feedback. Okay, and it won't let us... Oh, neat. So it automatically handles the case if we, like, accidentally try to redeploy onto another character. It just selects that character. That makes life easy. Machiavelli, you're making a game too. Nice background ambience. Reminds you of your roommate back in the college days. Nice. Fond memories. Cool. Well, we have a Discord. For YouTube, I think you have to go to my link tree in the channel description. But yeah, I'd love to see what you're working on. Or you could comment on the video if you don't want to join a Discord. If you've got an itch page or anything. Love seeing what the community is doing. All right, so what we want to do is we want the mouse cursor. We want the mouse cursor to move around, probably. And we really want the character fig to, like, move around in preview. Actually, should there be like a semi-transparent? No. I was like, we could have it be both. We could have it be in multiple places, but it would probably be better to not do that. So let's not do that. We do need it to reset if it doesn't successfully move. So, like, let's say, so if it was following my cursor around in like a preview mode, and if I accidentally, like, select another character before I complete the movement, it needs to, like, go back to where it was. So we need, like, a preview state that we can manage. But yeah, pretty good progress today. We got auto deployment going. We've got redeployment going. We need to tune it a little bit. Otherwise, we're doing all right. We probably want the icon to move around and maybe also the selection thing. That's going to interfere with some stuff, though. There's going to be some, like, character hovering. There might be some weird interactions if we do this, but we can work around it. Or I could just do, like, a preview, some kind of preview version of it. But let's try to actually move the figure around, because that's the easy thing. It's the easy thing to do. You're going to head out? No worries, Nanigans. Have a good weekend, if I don't see you. Probably do some fun stuff on Saturday. I'm thinking we're going to do, like, a character ability brainstorm session. We need to come up with, like, at least 5 abilities for each of the characters. And I've thought of some random ones, like like rock and roll was funny, where you can, like, do, like, maybe you can do, like, bludgeoning damage in a line or something like that for the bard. I do like my Knight's Move ability where the Knight can move and can make it exactly a Knight's move. So it can move to, it can use an action to magically like teleport to a Knight's, to an empty tile that's within a Knight's move away from itself. That'd be a really good repositioning spell for a character that's probably going to be heavily weighed down by armor. We do need to come up with a lot more of the item tags, equipment tags, so that equipment can begin having behavior and characteristics associated with them. We don't have that yet. We have maybe the structure for it, but we haven't actually done any iteration. So how are we gonna do? So this is what commits the redeploy. So we also need like a preview. We need like a preview. How are we gonna have a character figure preview that cleans itself up automatically? That's my conundrum. We do it with the card. We do it with card placement. I can't really give an example because we're auto deploying the characters, so I can't really show what it looks like to play a character card at the moment. You might be done for the day too? No worries. Take it easy, Arneo. We're gonna be wrapping up in a bit. We're still going, but we're wrapping up in a bit. But yeah, I appreciate everyone on YouTube. YouTube for the last few months has been like really not wanting to show my streams to people. I don't know what I did wrong. I think switching projects didn't help. YouTube liked my FTL like more than it likes my roguelike deck builder for whatever reason. But I really appreciate you guys. Obligatory, you know, subscribe, come back. Say hi in the comments. Or just keep on doing your thing. Ship games. Have a good time. Don't be dissuaded or discouraged. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do the preview? So our card token system, so we have like, so when you drag a card out to play it, I guess I can kind of demonstrate this. If you drag a card out to play it, like this Bard card, the game knows where you can play the card on the map. So it's like if there was no Bard, it would let me play the card anywhere in the deployment zone. But because there is a Bard, it's like you need to play this Bard card on another Bard. And that's how you like level up, right? And that's how our card token system works. So this is in card mode. When it reaches a point where the system is like, oh, this could be a figure, it converts to the figure. You can't really tell because it just hides the card, but it's switching to a token. The token just happens to look exactly like the Bard because it's a Bard. But you could see it working differently if this was like a sword and you would see the sword token over the Bard. Or again, it would switch to a little Bard token and you could position it. So I kind of want something like this, something like that for when you've selected a character into the deployment phase and you're repositioning them. Because right now it just jumps, and I want to provide the player feedback to let them know that they can move the character freely within the deployment zone during the deployment phase. They can't play it elsewhere. So there will be like friendly deployment on the left, enemy deployment on the right, which is just going to be auto-filled with enemies. Depending on, you know, whatever the challenge rating is. But I want to preview that, and I'm thinking about the right way to do that. That's not really something we currently support. But it should be. That's maybe what I should do, is I should maybe we just hide the figure. Maybe I hide the figure and create a token that follows my mouse around. And then if I click out, we can get rid of the, like if my mouse leaves this area, we can destroy the token. That doesn't totally work with, it can't be the card token. I can't create a card token, but I could create a new thing called a figure token if I want it to be distinct from the figure itself. Because the thing I don't want to do is like have the figure follow your mouse around and then like you select someone else or like you leave the space. Because then we'd have to move the figure back. I'd rather have it be a token and we can just get rid of the token and then the figure is made visible again. Something like that. I think that's sort of what I would do. I don't quite know if I have enough time to implement it, but I'm going to try. Subbed indeed. Oh, thank you, Machiavelli. I think you get a bad rap, Machiavelli. I've read The Republic. More specifically, the discourses on the first 10 books of The Republic, which was written by Machiavelli, which is very good. It's not as quotable as The Prince, but it's good. All right, so if I want to do that, so we handle this normally in this other branch, which is the input manager.card drag branch. That's when we're dragging the card. This handles most of the tokening. So I think I want a new kind of token. I've thought about this before. I thought about like, ooh, should we make a figure token so we can do like temporary things with character figures? And I hadn't gotten a reason to do that until now. But now that I have a reason to do it, I kind of want to. The token could really be one thing. I guess the only difference between a figure token and a card token is the card knows about the token knows about the card, and then with a figure token, the token would know about the figure. So let's duplicate this. Let's call it fig token. Fig is in like figurine. I'm not Kato over here. Not obsessed with figs. That is, David, what are you even talking about? My classical deep cuts are too classical and too deep. Today does reassure me a little bit that as long as I come to the stream with like good energy, and as long as I prioritize doing the work on the game in such a way that it's visible, I keep the work visible, people come by, people pull up. And that seems silly to be worried about that, but it matters a lot to me. So thank you. So how do I know what my card icon should be? Fig icon, we can say. We don't have a card, but we do have a fig dot card dot. No, wait, what does a fig have? Fig has access. Where's the character fig here? Character fig. Oh my god, where did I put it? My organization is failing me increasingly. Here it is. Character fig. You have a name and a oh shit. Okay. You do have a fig icon. Actually, that might be good enough. We should be able to just say fig icon.texture. So we could say fig icon.texture equals fig.fig icon. dot texture. We just need to pull the data over from the fig itself. Because this is a token. This is like a temporary stand-in. This should actually be fine. Should actually be fine. Oh, I got a little confused here. There we go. Okay, everything's good. All good. We're all good. We got a card token. We got a fig token. The environment map needs to know about the fig token somehow. Hey, Raidmaster from Rhiannon Journey. LSG, you hit your viewer count in Stream Manager, your mood is drastically improved. You just cannot look at it. Yeah, I try not to let it worry me. Obviously, it always does, but... it took me a while to take the advice of the stay-at-home dev who gave a talk at GodotCon last year about, like, how to be a YouTube game dev kind of person. And they were like, just don't look at your analytics. Like, don't look at your viewer count. Don't look at your subscriber count. Like, none of it matters. Just, like, figure out your thing. Figure out what works for you, and then just do your thing, and don't worry about the stats. Don't agonize over it. Don't refresh the page, and, you know. And that's hard to do. I'm sure I'll go right back to... Because I'm comfortable live streaming now, but I'm sure once I start putting up shorts and, like, edited devlogs or something... Machiavelli, keep showing up every day. Your exposure to luck increases. Can't get lucky if you aren't trying. Yeah, exactly. Just show up. Show up with positive energy. Make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can show up with positive energy. Figure out what works for you. It's unfortunate that it kind of boils down to like a fake it till you make it kind of thing, but you know, what doesn't? What is it? It's like opportunity is like luck combined with preparation or whatever. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. That's it. That's it. It's good stuff. Richard Feynman said that. No, I don't know. There's certain people you can attribute quotes to, and it's always believable. One of them is Richard Feynman. The other one is Joe DiMaggio, which is, I don't think, a person you can invoke anymore. I don't think anyone remembers who Joe DiMaggio is, but... Not John DiMaggio, who is a treasure. A contemporary treasure. Probably one of the greatest voice actors. I thought that was Wayne Gretzky. No, that's the... Yeah, okay, you're doing it. You're trolling me. That's like the Office scene where Michael has like a inspirational poster or something, or a written thing where he's like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, like Wayne Gretzky. Which, you know, maybe Wayne Gretzky said that, but I don't even remember if that was the quote. But yeah, Wayne Gretzky's another good one. That's a good one to invoke. Yeah, you're just gonna show up and talk to chat and not look at the numbers. That's it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Okay, so I think we're in a position where we can implement this figure token thing. I think it's going to be a little complicated. We'll have a branch here. So if in depth phase, if map zone has... So we'll need a cleanup. We'll need like a... We'll need something here so that we can clean up the token, the figure token. But the figure token is what's going to let us preview the position of the figure as we move around. So we don't have like this. Winston Churchill too, yeah. Winston Churchill's good. But yeah, right now you can move people around. It's all recorded. in the action history, which you can freely undo redo at any point in a turn. That's important to me. The only real lock-in is end turn. We need to swap the end turn button to be like, we need to hide the move and act buttons right now, I think. Maybe we could have a redeploy button or something, and that will just randomly redeploy everybody or something like that. I don't know. The thing I'm concerned about is people thinking they're locked in. I guess that's just a tutorialization thing. Because there's really not an alternative to just auto deploying. There really isn't. It'd be kind of neat if characters could swap places, but that's not really something we can support easily, so we're not going to do it. Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, my meeting already started. Well, rip. I guess we're missing that meeting today. That's fine. It could have been an email, probably. How's it going? Annalireth, Fractal Grove, epic name. Thank you for coming in. This is Digital Iliad here. We are working on Party Wipe, a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. How is it going? How was the stream? What have you been up to? Thank you for the raid. Mega Mocap VR. LFQ soon. We were gonna end soon, but we're gonna hang out now. I have no choice. Octardis, thank you. FG Wallfacer. We don't know you, but apparently our viewers also know you. Oh, some of your viewers know me. Well, that's good. And if they know you, then likewise. Stream was great. You're working on your game Dread. Ooh, that's a great name. Is there a Steam page or anything? Or an itch page? Anything? Not yet? No, don't worry, me either. I just have to ask. We're working on a new game for the last couple of months here. I'll give that shout out. Okay, we got a raid train going. Is that what you're telling me, FG Wallfacer? We'll keep it going then. We'll hang out for a bit and then we'll keep it going. But yeah, this is my game. We were working on something new today. We were working on a deployment phase. I don't have a lot of cards in the deck right now because we're working on redoing the cards. But we got an auto deploy, which we needed, which is it pulls the top cards off your deck. Which are your 4 starting characters. I have 4 more characters, or 4 copies of the characters, just so I can do some stuff, but the way this game works, yeah, so we implemented an auto deploy that will like automatically deploy your character in this deployment area, and we just set it up so you can redeploy. We want to add some visual details so that you can preview, so I would love for the little icon to follow me around. So we're going to make a little token that follows me around. So that it can show you where you might end up. We will need to work on that next. But yeah, this is a little roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. So all of the cards are all of the things. So you can probably see really, really tiny. There's like helmet, armor, all this different gear. There's like some weapon slots. There's some locked slots here, which are like ability slots. So these are all the nouns. The cards are the nouns, so your deck is your party. And then the verbs are the things you can do on this little turn-based battle map. So you'll have attacks and abilities and movement. Very D&D based. So you will deploy your party, you'll equip them, and try to get through a dungeon crawl, you know, without a party wipe. And you can level up. You'll acquire more cards as you go along. You can play duplicate cards to level them up, so I can level this knight up, giving them their access to their first spell slot. We need a lot more, you know, fanfare going on here, but Fractal got lost walking in their own game, so it must be a good one. Yeah, that must be. That's the dream. It's so cool when your game has reached a level of complexity that it surprises you. That's like the magic moment for me. Getting lost in your own game certainly qualifies. Interesting. It's a liminal space psychological horror walking simulator. That's awesome. Hey, Octardis. You remember the game? Thank you. You'll have one once the right time. Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you all. We're gonna not run ads. Yeah, thank you for the raid. If you gotta run, no worries. We're probably gonna need to pass this raid train on here. We'll find someone good. Unfortunate timing. But you know, that's life. That's life on stream. It's still good to meet a new game dev streamer. Actually, I don't think I followed you. I need to follow you. Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll probably, or tonight, I might make a bunch of cards tonight because I need to fill out the starting deck with more equipment for all the characters so we can test more of that. We'll probably work on more of this redeployment and what we were calling the Fig token system, which we have card tokens for when you play a card onto the board. It switches to like a token that you can position. This is a terrible example because all of the characters are already on the board, but if someone died and you were redeploying them, or if, let's say, not all of the characters survived the last encounter, so you redeployed with like less than your full party, and you happen to draw a new copy, you could play them, and it switches to this card token that you can move around the board, and it's like a doppelganger for the card. And we need to do that for these, which I call these figures, which are the permanent token on the board. We need a tokenized version of that so I can preview their movement around the board. Because if I actually move the real figure, that will cause some secondary knock-on effects, which I don't want to do. We want to reset it if you cancel out partway through. So I already have an idea of how I already know how to do that because we've already done a card token. So we just need to redo this with the figure token, which we'll probably do tomorrow. And then, yeah, tonight I will probably make a bunch more cards. We already have a bunch of cards. We are trying out the Yard plugin for managing resources because we have all these cards, and the cards have all this data because they're all these resources. Like they have stat blocks and icons and lists of things like what are their weapon proficiencies or armor proficiencies, or if they're a weapon, like which proficiencies do you need to use them. So we've already started doing this. I've only made equipment for the knight. So I need to make equipment for the rest of the characters, and then I think on Saturday we're gonna brainstorm ability spells for the characters. I have a few in mind, but I think it'll be a fun weekend activity, and then we can get the initial set of cards in place and do some stuff. We need to do some card drafting eventually, but we've got an in-person playtesting event in 3 weeks, which is very soon. 3 weeks is basically tomorrow. And so I think we're going to cut the card drafting part for the initial playtest and then just have a starting deck. And then we can add the card drafting back for my next playtest, which is in September. I think between August and September, we're going to need to add things like sound and card drafting and an actual map progression that's not just random combat encounter after random combat encounter. You got to take off? No worries. Thanks, Fractal. Appreciate you. Rhiannon raid mastered to Boolean. Oh, good. I totally forgot you had done that, Rhiannon. I was gonna ask. Let's go to Boolean when the stream is done. Good. Okay. It's where you're going anyway, so you might as well bring us all with you. That's it. That's the plan. Boolean has the best time slot. Boolean, I feel like everyone raids into Boolean. It's a really good position. And Boolean's such a nice guy, right? Who wouldn't want to just raid into that stream? But yeah, we're doing good on YouTube. We have like almost 20 people concurrently watching on YouTube, which is huge for recent memory. We've had highs like that in the past, but nothing recent. So thanks, algorithm, for putting me in front of people, and thanks to the people for checking this out. This is a roguelike deck builder we're trying to make in like a year or less. We're gonna put a Steam demo out by the end of the year. Basically by Christmas is the promise I made to myself, is a Steam demo by Christmas. We've only been working on this a couple months, so I think we can do it. Pre-rolls are on over on Twitch. Sorry about that for anyone that gets pre-rolled in here. All right, I do have to run now. I'm starting to get work text. Gods of algorithm be praised. Truly. All right, let's get this Boolean raid set up. If I spell his name wrong, I'm going to be so upset. B-O-U-L-E-A-N. Boolean. Where is he? Is he even on? Boolean. There he is. Yeah, he is. B-O-U-L-E-A-N. Boolean. Have a good meeting. Thank you, Annalirith. Appreciate you. Thanks for the follow. Arctardus, thank you for the follow as well. Thank you for the raid again, Fractal Grove. We are gonna Boolean is so great. They're also working on a new project. We started our projects around the same time. On the YouTube side, thank you. You can't come with us on the raid, but hopefully you'll check back in maybe tomorrow or Saturday. We do stream usually 5 days a week. If you're another game dev like me, good luck on your game dev journey. We have a Discord if you want to commiserate or share your projects or ask for help if you're new to Godot. But yeah, let's set this raid up. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you all next time. Let's get this raid train. Let's keep this raid train going. Ship them if you got them. Bye.